Welcome to Stories of Success about Kylie Minogue. Today we will talk about Australian singer's life and career. Kylie Ann Minogue, also known mononymously as Kylie, is an Australian singer and actress. Minogue is the highest-selling female Australian artist of all time, having sold over 80 million records worldwide. She has been recognised for reinventing herself in music and fashion, for which she is referred to by the European press as the Princess of Pop and a style icon. Her accolades include a Grammy Award, 3 Brit Awards and 17 ARIA Music Awards. Kylie Minogue was born and raised in Melbourne, Australia. She gained prominence as a recording artist in the late 1980s. She released 4 bubblegum and dance pop-influenced studio albums. She returned to mainstream dance-oriented music with 2000's Light Years, including the #1 hits, Spinning Around, and, On a Night Like This. The follow-up, Fever, was an international breakthrough for Minogue, becoming her best-selling album to date.
Music with my own ears as a youngster, and there's actually, in the disco album, we do reference I Will Survive. So it's a nice little bit of kismet that she amazingly agreed to join me on this album.
Minogue continued reinventing her image and experimenting with a range of genres. With her 2020 album Disco, she became the first female artist to have a chart-topping album in the UK for 5 consecutive decades. Minogue made her film debut in The Delinquents and portrayed Cammy in Street Fighter. She has also appeared in the films Moulin Rouge, Jack and Diane, Holy Motors and San Andreas. In 2014, she appeared as a judge on the 3rd series of The Voice UK and The Voice Australia. Her other ventures include product endorsements, children's books, fashion, and charitable work. Minogue was appointed an Officer of the Order of the British Empire in the 2008 New Year Honours for services to music. She was awarded an Honorary Doctor of Health Science degree by Anglia Ruskin University in 2011 for her work in raising awareness for breast cancer. At the 2011 ARIA Music Awards, she was inducted by the Australian Recording Industry Association into the ARIA Hall of Fame. Kylie Ann Minogue was born on the 28th of May 1968 in Melbourne, Victoria. She has Welsh and Irish heritage and was named after the Noongar language word for boomerang in 1985. She was cast in one of the lead roles in The Henderson Kids. In 1986, she became the first person to win 4 Logie Awards in 1 year. She was the youngest recipient of the Gold Logie. As the country's most popular television performer, she was in a relationship with Jason Donovan for 3 years, until 1989. The Locomotion was released as her debut single in Australia on the 27th of July 1987, 3 weeks after Neighbours' wedding episode premiered. The single became the best-selling single of the decade in Australia according to the Kent Music Report. Minogue's self-titled debut album, Kylie, was released in July 1988. It was a success in the United Kingdom, Europe, New Zealand, Asia and Australia and spawned the UK #1 singles, Hand on Your Heart, and Tears on My Pillow. However, it failed to sell well throughout North America and Minogue was dropped by her American record label Geffen Records.
I didn't have a record deal, but I liked the idea of it, and someone heard me sing it at a charity event with some of the cast from Neighbours, and I just knew the song Locomotion. So that is a hit in Australia. Then the next logical step was to come to
Minogue's 3rd album, Rhythm of Love, was released in November 1990. It was described as leaps and bounds more mature than her previous albums. The album did not match the commercial success of its predecessors, but 3 of its singles, Better the Devil You Know, Step Back in Time, and Shocked, reached the top 10 in both the UK and Australia. Minogue's 4th album, Let's Get to It, was released in October 1991 and reached number 15 on the UK albums chart. It was her first album to fail to reach the top 10. The singles from the album, What Kind of Fool and her cover version of Kool and the Gang's Celebration, both reached the top 20 of the UK singles chart. She later expressed her opinion that she was stifled by Stock, Aitken and Waterman, saying, "I was very much a puppet in the beginning." Minogue's fifth album, Kylie Minogue, was released in September 1994. The album peaked at number 4 on the UK Albums Chart and was certified gold in the country. Its lead single, Confide in Me, spent 4 weeks at number 1 on the Australian Singles Chart. In 1995, Minogue collaborated with Australian artist Nick Cave for the song Where the Wild Roses Grow. The music video for their song was inspired by John Everett Millais' painting Ophelia, and showed Minogue as the murdered woman. She had a minor role in the 1996 film Biodome starring Pauly Shore and Stephen Baldwin. In 1999, Minogue performed a duet with the Pet Shop Boys on their Nightlife album and spent several months in Barbados performing in Shakespeare's The Tempest. She signed with Parlophone in April, who wanted to re-establish Minogue as a pop artist. Her seventh studio album, Light Years, was released on the 25th of September 2000. It was a commercial success, becoming Minogue's first #1 album in her native Australia. Spinning Around and Light Years consecutively won the ARIA Award for Best Pop Release in 2000 and 2001. She also made a brief cameo as the Green Fairy in Baz Luhrmann's Moulin Rouge, which earned her an MTV Movie Award nomination in 2002. In September 2001, Minogue released Can't Get You Out of My Head, the lead single from her 8th studio album, Fever. It reached #1 in over 40 countries and sold 5 million copies, becoming Minogue's most successful single to date. The accompanying music video featured the singer sporting an infamous hooded white jumpsuit with deep plunging neckline. The remaining singles, In Your Eyes, Love at First Sight, and Come Into My World, all peaked in the top 10 in Australia and the United Kingdom. The warm reception towards the album led to its release in the United States in February 2002 by Capitol Records. It debuted on the Billboard 200 at number 3, her highest charting album in the region. In May 2002, Minogue and Gooding announced the end of their relationship after 2.5 years. She received 4 accolades at the ARIA Music Awards of 2002, including Highest-Selling Single and Single of the Year for Can't Get You Out of My Head. That same year, she won her first Brit Award for International Female Solo Artist and Best International Album for Fever. In November 2004, Minogue released her second official greatest hits album entitled Ultimate Kylie. In March 2005, she commenced her Showgirl, the Greatest Hits tour. After performing in Europe, she was diagnosed with breast cancer, forcing her to cancel the tour. She underwent surgery in May 2005 and commenced chemotherapy treatment soon after. It was announced in January 2006 that she had finished chemotherapy and the disease had no recurrence after the surgery. In November 2007, she released her much-discussed comeback album, X. The electro-styled album included contributions from Guy Chambers, Kathy Dennis, Bloodshy and Avant and Calvin Harris. In July 2010, Minogue released her 11th studio album, Aphrodite. The album featured new songwriters and producers including Stuart Price as executive producer. Minogue recorded a duet with synthpop duo Hertz on their song, Devotion. She was then featured on Tayo Cruz's single, Higher. The result was successful, peaking inside the top 20 in several charts and impacting the US Hot Dance Club charts. In January 2013, Minogue and her manager Terry Blamey, whom she had worked with since the start of her singing career, parted ways. The following month, she signed to Roc Nation for a management deal. In September, she was featured on Italian singer-songwriter Laura Pausini's single, Limpido, which was a #1 hit in Italy and received a nomination for World's Best Song at the 2013 World Music Awards. In March 2014, she released her 12th studio album, Kiss Me Once. She was hired as a coach for the third series of BBC One's talent competition The Voice UK, alongside record producer and Black Eyed Peas member, Will.I.am.
Have a record deal, but I liked the idea of it, and someone heard me sing it at a charity event with some of the cast and neighbours, and I just knew the song Locomotion. So that is a hit in Australia. Then the next logical step was to come.
In February 2017, Minogue signed a new record deal with BMG Rights Management. Minogue's album Golden was released in April 2018 with Dancing serving as its lead single. The album debuted at #1 in the UK and Australia. She released a greatest hits compilation Step Back in Time, the definitive collection, on the 28th of June 2019, featuring New York City. Minogue is set to reissue Disco on the 12th of November 2021, and this was preceded with the release of A Second to Midnight, featuring Years and Years.
Have a record deal, but I liked the idea of it, and someone heard me sing it at a charity event with some of the cast from Neighbours, and I just knew the song Locomotion. So that is a hit in Australia. Then the next logical step was to come.
This was a story of success about Kylie Minogue's life and career. If you enjoyed this, make sure to subscribe and join us for more.